Hello, Aaron Kubitz, personal trainer at Functional Aesthetics EC, where we're helping average guys move better in their lives inside and outside the gym. In today's video, I'm going to just be going over kind of a training vlog of some of the workouts that I've been doing recently. On this channel, I kind of go back and forth between anything from supplements, rehab from injuries, correcting muscular imbalances, diet, nutrition, and then these training vlogs, just kind of documenting some of the training that I'm doing based upon differences in my schedule, workload, things like that, and how you can also blend that into your life depending on what your training schedule looks like and what extracurricular activities outside of the gym are looking like so that you can achieve the best results regardless of what your current circumstances look like. So in this one, it's basically kind of a somewhat of a hybrid where I'm just going through some deadlifts, doing a little bit of rowing, and then throwing in actually some overhead pressing, which I typically don't do with the pulling exercises for like a deadlift, but it does seem to work out pretty nicely. And then kind of finishing it off with some Jefferson squats and some roundhouse kicks. And the reason why I do that is because I feel that the Jefferson squat actually helps to create a little bit more hip mobility. When you're lifting a lot of heavy weights with a conventional deadlift, you tend to be more in this sagittal plane where you're going straight forward and backwards. And if you're lifting a lot of weight, I find personally it can tend to increase the immobility in your hips and make you a little bit more stiff in that regard. So when you're doing the Jefferson squat, in addition to increasing that hip mobility because you have to go down to the extreme range of motion, it can also help to increase adductor strength, so the inner thigh muscles there. So when you're especially living in Wisconsin like I do, and you have ice and snow and stuff like that, if you slip real quick, you're going to be able to go down to that position in a splits or something like that with a lot lower risk of injury than if you had not had those adductors strengthened. And for the same reason, throwing in some roundhouse kicks after doing that can also help with the power aspect of that. So you have strength where you just move into the weight from point A to point B, and then you have power where it's more concerned with how fast are you moving the weight from point A to point B, which martial arts has a lot to do with power, whereas powerlifting is not actually power, it's more strength training. So without further ado, we'll get into the workout. Let you kind of sit back, observe some of the stuff I've been doing, leave your comments in the comment section below, and we'll see you on the flip side. enjoyed the video. One thing that I didn't mention earlier on, but it kind of correlates back to what I was talking about in regards to hip mobility, doing the Jefferson squats and working in different planes of motion. So that's one of the big differences between, I believe, functional bodybuilding versus traditional bodybuilding, is that functional bodybuilding, you are, or in like traditional bodybuilding, it's primarily about optimizing hypertrophy, and it can be actually somewhat more functional than maybe powerlifting or something, because you are trying to develop a more well-rounded, balanced, aesthetically pleasing physique, and in the process of doing that, you have to train a lot more different muscles than you would when you're just doing your squat, bench press, and deadlift like you are with your powerlifting. Nothing against powerlifting, but be that as it may, bodybuilding is not typically thought of as being a super functional form of fitness. It's a lot more about visual appeal, how the body looks, and more of an art form and in your body rather than for athletic performance and things like that. Indeed, when you are looking super shredded and stuff like that and muscular like a bodybuilder, you might not actually have as good of athletic performance as you would, and you might, and by the same token, a lot of athletes don't look quite as well. What I try to do in the functional bodybuilding is kind of help you to get that, more aesthetic physique still, while still maintaining a little bit more of that athleticism. And one of the aspects of doing that is working in multiple planes of motion. So instead of just, you're doing your squat, you're in the sagittal plane, you're doing your deadlift, you're in the sagittal plane. About the biggest thing you typically see is somebody will be doing like Russian twists or twisting leg raises or something, maybe doing their lateral raise, right? But you don't see a lot of full body core rotation type stuff, or things where you're working the muscles in a different planes of motion, and there is some good reason for that. So there's nothing against doing traditional deadlifts or squats or bench presses or overhead presses. One of the benefits of doing those is that you're in a much more stable position when you're in that position, so you can generate more force, so it's optimal for developing maximal strength and size doing that kind of exercise. But unless you are going to be a competitive bodybuilder, it's maybe not the best long-term strategy to use. And so what I like to do is kind of have more toned down version, but be able to be more maybe like Tarzan or some wild man of the jungle. So I have like this strength, but I can also move my body really well and be strong in a variety of different angles and planes of motion. And that's why sometimes I will train with sandbags, doing various different kettlebell exercises, hanging from trees, climbing in trees, doing animal flow type exercises as well, just to increase that mobility and full body awareness that is typically lacking from traditional barbell movements. So, with that being said, if you like this video, if you'd like to see more content related to nutrition, rehab, injury prevention, strength training, and also the nutrition to go along to optimize your fitness, then consider subscribing to the channel by hitting the button in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, and also hit that like button if you found this video entertaining or gleaned something informational or, resourceful to help benefit you in your training. Thanks guys for watching. We'll see you all next time.